Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cosmere Connections. We're a collective of book-loving nerds rereading Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere series. From book 1 to book 16 million, we'll be uncovering every secret connection there is to find. Today, I'm just unable to. I'm restarting.
That's all, folks.
I've been sipping grape knee-high for like the past. The sugar is getting to me now.
I'm sorry, but drinking what?
Grape knee-high. Grape knee-high. Grape knee-high. It's a grape soda.
I see that. Is that like a local brand?
Oh, it was a pilot. Have none of you ever seen MASH?
It sounds like a sock.
Yeah, I've seen MASH, but
Okay.
let's see.
It's just a semi-old grape soda.
Semi-old grape soda. Okay.
Okay. 3, 2. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cosmere Connections. We're a collective of book-loving nerds rereading Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere series. From book 1 to book 16 million, we'll be uncovering every secret connection there is to find. On our show today, we have Swiggity Swoo.
Hey, thanks for being here. The only podcast sponsored by Grape Knee High.
Not actually. Yes.
Yes.
I wish. John?
I haven't died wearing this headset.
And Kay.
Hey, how's it going?
And I'm ReaderWarrior, and today we're going to be covering Mistborn, Alloy of Law, Part 1, Chapters 4 through 6. And I was able to nab Chapter 4. And literally, first 4 words in my notes, it's a ball chapter.
So Reader finally gets a ball chapter, in other words.
I think he got one.
After
like
making
3 years ago.
Fuss about it too. It was a great ordeal.
Yeah, it was the ball.
Yes, I had to fight and plead and beg, sell my kidney.
I think you got part of a ball chapter. I don't think you got the whole ball chapter. I think you got part of it.
I will happily at one point go back and figure out what if half of a ball chapter I got.
I'm pretty sure it was Hero of Ages.
Okay, see, friends, we don't even know what we're talking about.
There's only so many balls left, and it's gonna be a fight to get them.
So it's a ball chapter, and Wax cannot believe how grand it is. Steris is with him, wearing a calculatedly fashionable dress, and helps him integrate into the high society of Elendil's elite. They walk hand in hand as she explains that it's not always about who is invited, but who isn't. There's even some people who are invited specifically. There's even some people invited to specifically, and it says isn't. I don't know what.
Maybe you should type your notes.
I should probably. The worst part is I write the notes and I don't even know what I'm saying.
There are people who are specifically invited to make sure that the people who aren't invited know that they would rather hang out with the dregs of society than hang out with them.
Yes, somehow I did that in there's even some people invited to specifically isn't those who aren't.
Yeah.
Wow, he's speaking what do they call it now? High Imperial. Yeah.
I should just do my notes on High Imperial. Wax comments how this would probably get someone strung up in the roughs, but Steris is quick to psychoanalyze him and call out Wax for trying to act more rough-like than he really is. The bride and groom arrive.
She reads him for filth. She just absolutely calls him out, which is so funny.
The bride and groom arrive and talk to everyone, including a beggar-looking man. Wax watches them as he checks the room, remarking on electric lights and the cost of a party like this, and the cost of what the party might have been. He even starts thinking about where safe places to hide might be and where snipers might be able to hide. However, Wax kicks himself for thinking like this and instead strikes up a conversation with Marasi. Before he could get anywhere with her, he recognized one of the terrorist servers' voice and realized Wayne has crashed it too.
Not again.
Good old
Are
Wayne.
we really surprised?
Wax asks Harms about the Vanishers to distract them from Wayne, to which Marasi asks what things were like in the Wild Roughs. He says it was difficult, but the biggest shock was when people saw he wanted to protect instead of take. He would often fall into adventures, to which Marasi asks about the surefires. Surprising Wax, and Marasi explains that she's read stories of him at the university. As Wax takes a sip of his tea, he almost chokes on a bullet casing that Wayne dropped inside. Great way to reintroduce yourself. Steris comments that the constables will soon deal with the Vanishers, but Marasi doesn't agree. Much to the disappointment of Harms, Wax asks her to elaborate, and she does, with math, to explain that Wax and his lawmen actually ratioed with the populace better than constables do in terms of security. And for once, Wax finds himself interested.
I thought that was a cool scene.
Gotta love statistics.
Right?
I have to submit to the intrusive thoughts for a half a second here. Wayne has a bright future as a date rapist. Slipping things into people's drinks all the time.
Oh, gee. Yeah, well, I mean, Wax
Yeah,
is
intrusive
one pouring
thoughts, I
into
know.
wine.
I just, like...
Yeah, he did
Okay.
multiple times. To himself, though.
But like the idea that technically there's more police in the roughs per capita than there are in Ellendale kind of made Wax think about things differently.
Yeah, it makes sense because in the city there's such a high density of people that like, and out in the roughs there's so many less people there that like having 1, 2, 3 people like in an area like is gonna be a higher ratio than in the city.
It goes back to that idea of like the panopticon of feeling like you're being watched. Like it's more about the idea of the system than the actual system.
Yeah. Wayne returns, bringing soup. Wax opens the shell casing to find a note inside that said he was correct, and then Wayne disappears to get bread. As they eat,
I love how vague Wayne's note is. Sorry, this is just like it's so vague.
You're right.
And Wax is like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you referring to?
He's like, I'm.
He's like, yes, I am correct about a lot of things, but what is this in reference to? Like,
Right, it just says like you were
Like,
right.
you should get back to the roughs. You're right.
I know.
yeah.
I'm always right.
Steris asks about conversational topics that would interest Wax, so long as they don't touch on politics and religion. So Wax starts commenting on the times he was aiming at things and ended up missing their balls.
No, missing. Oh yeah, missing their balls, aiming at the balls and missing them.
Aiming for other
Yeah.
things and hitting the balls. Well, and then
Yes.
vice versa.
Also that.
I was wondering if this was going to make it into the notes.
This causes Steris to grow embarrassed, especially when Harms and then Marasi join in and cause her to flee to the powder room. This causes a flash of guilt in Wax and Harms to blame Marasi.
To
Wax
be fair,
says that
she told him that he couldn't surprise her anymore, and then he proceeded to take that as a challenge.
yeah, but living up to what she was commenting on. Oh, you're just acting more rough-like to get a
True,
reaction.
as well. Yep.
Wax says that the fault lies with him earning Marasi's grace. Harms then goes to grab a drink, leaving them alone. She asks him why her statistics appeared to sadden him, to which he says that he should have realized earlier that Ellendale needed him. He thinks on how Harmony created the perfect home for them, and yet and this is where I got a bit confused. Ellendites, were seemingly as bad as those in the roughs. Ellendites.
Ooh, do we know that what they're supposed to be called.
I think Elendelian?
Ellendellers.
Elendellers?
Ellendellers, I love
It
that.
just rolls off the tongue.
That does sound better.
Ellendeller.
You're not gonna get
I don't
anything
know, I
better
want
than
the-
that.
Oh, those Ellendellers. Oh, with the hard R.
Elendonians?
Oh, no, don't.
Okay, before I start on my next section, can we talk about how the fact like land that was always fruitful and like was always moisturized and didn't need like squat in order to feed everybody?
It was moisturized. It puts the lotion on its skin.
Wait.
Harmony literally made them a paradise.
Oh, so that's what you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, just the fact that Harmony was just like, you know what, we had how many years of ash and all that stuff. I'm literally going to make a self-sustaining ecosystem that you guys can just leech off of.
But only right here in the basin, and everywhere else it's gonna be rough.
Exactly.
He wanted to make it so that to make a place where they wouldn't have to struggle anymore because they've been struggling for so long.
The city, capital C, was the land of plenty that Harmony had created to shelter mankind. Here, trees grew fruitful in abundance, and cultivated lands had water without need for irrigation. The ground was always fertile and somehow never got farmed out. Cheat mode.
And there has to be kind of an even balance between the forces, you know. If that's something we kind of learned in Era 1. So you can't
Maybe
just have
that's
an
why the
entire
roughs
world
are.
of paradise, I think.
So maybe there is like about maybe the roughs are like more bad because this is so good.
That's what I was
Like
yeah,
I'm just
that's what I was trying to get at. Yeah.
like in my mind it's just like Wild West sans cliche spaghetti western. But I'm wondering if maybe it's like a bit worse because of that balance.
Or maybe it's critical to the, you know, it's critical to the biome that the basin is in. It needs to have that outer shell.
With wine and bread, Wayne returns and comments that Wex didn't have to eat his companions if he was so hungry. Marasi then recognizes Wayne, leading to him sitting down, eating, and sulking. In the blink of an eye, he then switches his server attire to his rough's clothing. I feel like we wanted to stop and laugh at that for a bit.
Yeah. Cartoonish costume change. Check.
I also just think it's funny that he just sits and he's grumpy, so he just decides to sulk.
Just takes a bite out of bread.
He's upset because you
Marasi
caught him. Now
recognizes-
he's gonna sulk.
Yep.
Marasi recognizes it as a speed bubble. Thanks to her being a student at the university, she's been able to read most, if not all, of the broadsheet reports on Wax and Wayne. When asked what she's studying, her shy facade turns real. Legal justice and criminal behavior, she says, which isn't exactly feminine. Which, I find it a bit weird that there's a concept of femininity considering Vin. But then
There's
again,
always going to be concepts of like gender roles in societies. That's just like how that works and like what is the ideal like feminine person. Like Vin was allowed to do what she did because she was different. Like that's kind of like so and that's kind of the thought is like she was the ascendant warrior. Also, like they do talk about how she had a feminine side as well. Like she did like dress up. She went to balls. Like she did that. Like so
Yeah.
Also, like, the most powerful women at that time were all Rian, which definitely wasn't helping things, and what's her name, who Spook was dating,
Beldra.
Beldra, who weren't
Good memory. I
exactly,
was trying to remember that name this morning and I couldn't.
which weren't exactly breaking away from specific stereotypes of the time.
Yeah.
Wayne turns the conversation back to the Vanishers and says, that looks like a sat, says all the women kidnapped were
Can you
relatives
read
from
your own handwriting?
I can typically, but sometimes when I'm reading and then I'm writing quickly, it's just my Y crossed over a bit too much, so it kind of looks like a T. And says all the women kidnapped were relatives from a particular line. He pulls out a paper showcasing how they were all related to the Lord Mistborn and with close relations to a known Allomancer. Marasi gets excited, claiming to have known he was investigating them from the start, since 1 month after he returned, the Vanishers began their attacks. Wayne asks if Wax brought a gun. Wax says no, important detail for later, and asks why, to which Wayne explains that there was an event with potential hostages and jewelry to use as a distraction, a place where people were corralled to after they stopped a wedding reception. And then the doors get kicked open. Musical sting.
Very.
Very
And
exciting.
that's chapter 4.
Only took us 4 chapters to get to an action scene. Not that I'm complaining. That's I like these books. That I think they always have a good pace. The first trilogy as well, pacing out like action, mystery, whatever. And this chapter was great because the punchline at the end is like, oh, and then the bandits show up.
I always love those moments where character realizes, oh, this place, and then that's exactly when the thing happens.
Yeah.
Anything else for chapter 4?
These
I don't think so.
3 are so like punchy and coordinated with each other. It's like hard to talk about just one. So I had chapter 5. The thieves storm in and start pointing guns at everybody, demanding money and jewelry. We're introduced to a large Koloss-blooded bandit. We later learned is named Tarson. Marasi begins writing down descriptions of the men in her notebooks. Wayne whips out his dueling canes for the first time, which is very exciting.
And no, that's not a euphemism.
Or he starts to until Wax convinces him to wait. He doesn't want to become a bloodbath after all. The Vanishes are making their way through the room, stealing everyone's money, when an old constable named Peterus stands up in anger. Peterus is instantly robbed. The bandits say robbing the rich people of Elendel is payback for the way they've treated the roughs. Wax thinks he recognizes the bandit leader's voice. Wax downs a metal vial and pushes on Wayne's dueling canes in Marasi's notebook to hide them under the table. And I think it was more just some metal flakes and not an actual full vial at this point, but not super important.
Right now, it was a little bit of flakes, and then later when he like gears up, he like pours the whole thing, and chugs it.
Because at this point, he's not really committed to fighting yet. He's still trying to hide and just let this blow over. They come over and they're trying to rob the gang, Marasi, Wayne, and Wax. And it's humiliating. And Wayne didn't have any money, so the Koloss man stole his hat, which Wayne will never let go since it's his lucky hat. Wax is cool with it because he has marked bills in his wallet. The bandits are comparing faces to drawings, which confirms Wax's suspicion that they're looking for specific people. Meanwhile, the men seem to be getting jumpy because they have all this new firepower and they're itching to use it. Steris and Marasi...
Like you do.
Yeah. Steris and Marasi are both taken hostage, and before too long, Peters gets blasted in the head by the bandit leader, who then tells the rest of the men to let loose. This is the last straw as Wax decides to fight back. Wayne throws up a speed bubble, and they prepare to engage, but not before Wayne tells Wax the real reason he came back to the city. He couldn't let Wax have a boring death like some schmuck. That's
I
pretty
couldn't
much
let you
chapter
live
5.
a normal life.
Yeah.
Had to come cause
So-
some chaos.
Boring.
And that speaks a lot towards Wayne and his view on life.
Mhm.
I love like slow build up of like him pulling out a gun. He's like, I thought you said you didn't. I didn't bring one, and then pulls out a second one.
And then
It's like-
later on, he pulls out a third.
He pulls out a
one.
third.
He's
That's
like,
part of my chapter, thank you.
he's like, I didn't bring just one. You know me better than that.
For sure, the third one's like a
So, like-
shotgun.
Yeah, it is. It's like a yeah.
He had a shotgun on like his pant leg, I thought it was, or
Talk about
something.
a shotgun
It's
wedding.
No, it was a tiny pistol in his boot.
I thought it was a longer gun.
No, it was
In
a
your chapter, John.
yeah. He called it a something
well-
or another, like 27. He's like, it's a small but very precise gun.
Well, either way, that this chapter was really good. Especially the build up, and I love the line towards the end of Wayne being like, "You put on a good show, mate." But we all know, he's like, "But we all know where this is going," pretty much.
Like, you've got them in the bubble, and like, Wax gets the moment to like stand up to like put on the metaphorical mist cloak, pours all the shavings into the wine, douses it, and then suddenly the lights appear once again. So you get this kind of, I'm imagining sort of winged thing. You got a scene from the back of him, and they're sort of spread out in front of him as he like pulls out the one gun and then pulls out the other. Wax is next to him, and he's like tapping his canes on like his shoulder, and you get like this epic poster shot before
Oh yeah.
the bubble drops and they just dive to opposite sides. Like, this is an awesome scene.
What if you had camera angles that were showing Wayne like doing hand-to-hand combat and Wax doing cool stuff in slow motion in the background? Like,
Oh, absolutely.
like this.
Basically, the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes. Lock is blind trap. Discombobulated.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. These books have a very much the same energy as those movies to me.
Yeah. Similar vibes. You know, detectives, kind of a little bit chaotic.
Slightly ninja-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Combat.
We've got somebody who's Kolos blooded. That's a thing now.
Mm-hmm.
John, do you have
we don't know.
Do you have thoughts on that,
Yeah,
John?
John, do you have thoughts?
No. That just means that Kolos can reproduce now, apparently.
I want to
Who'da thunk it?
personally say I always thought it was weird, or I was curious about it in a weird way. How did we get to this?
I
Yeah,
still
it
kind of
confused the
am.
crap out of me the first time.
Yeah.
And I was really trying to pay attention to what happened to the Kolos at the end of Pharaoh of Ages, but I can't remember.
No, they go into
don't-
the vault,
don't
and
mention
then
it.
that's the last thing Human goes into the vault, finds out that the ATM missing, and then that's the last we see of Kolos.
Other than them getting cut up on the battlefield.
Yeah.
And, spoilers, but I don't think we ever learn this through these books. How people came to have Kolos blood.
Kind of do in a
we-
novella.
Yeah, we learn a little bit more about it in novella that's in Arcanum Unbound.
Which we will get to at a
The
future date.
pits, yeah, pits of what is it? It's
Good.
the Jack,
Alamancer Jack
whatever,
and the
Alamancer Jack, and the pits of
Good
something.
to know.
something.
We will
It's
get
the
to that at
Alamancer
some point
Jack
in the future.
story. Yeah.
Yes. So everybody comes in unmasked except for the leader. He's got like the bandana wrapped around his face, and that's the only one who is covered. Peter Roas is a cameo for Peter Alstrom,
Mhm.
and Lucky Hat.
I ain't never died wearing that hat.
And then there was, at one point, Wax calls them baddies, and I just found that utterly hilarious. And then that's about all I got for this chapter. There's one weird line. What know your sort of law? It was just confusing for me.
What I find most valuable about these chapters is the display of Wax and Wayne's powers. We've read the books, so it's not super new to us, but this is the first time we really get to see both of them do their stuff. And it's exciting and thrilling in a way that you really only get in a Sanderson book. And I appreciated them for that, especially in John's chapter. Obviously, this is more of the setup and the build up.
Yeah. Really quick, there's a line when Peter is like saying this is outrageous, you should be ashamed, and the outlaw leader like smacks him across the face. Peter says, "In the name of the law, I will see you hunted down and hanged for this." Peter has cried. The outlaw leader smacked Peters across the face, knocking him to the ground. What know your sort of the law?
Yeah.
Is that just a typo? What is? I
No.
don't understand that
What
English.
know your sort of the law? Like he's saying, like, what do you
What do
know
people
of the
like
law?
you know
What do
about the law?
people?
Yeah.
Okay, that just reads horribly to me then.
Doth
No,
thou
it makes
know
sense.
the law?
It's just, yeah, it's
It's-
just a different accent. Like it's a different way of wording it. But it makes sense.
It does. It's just it. I got stuck there for a good while. Like, what the heck is that grammar?
Now, you know what? I keep wanting to say things, but then I keep remembering they happened in John's chapter.
Yes, chapter 6.
Chapter 6, me. Yeah. So, Wax and Wayne finally join the fight for realsies. We see Wax shooting people with pinpoint precision and Wayne smashing baddies with his canes. It is chaos. There is destruction. There is people saving going on. Wax uses his steel pushing expertly, pulling all kinds of crazy maneuvers, even going so far as to push away barricades and do all of these sorts of things. And make like a clear space for everybody to fight in. Wayne's going around putting up speed bubbles and doing the things. It is madness and pandemonium.
Like at one point, he's like pushing all the tables and everything, and Wax is just riding up. Wayne is just riding on top of one.
I love so it's really fun in this book series that there are in era 2 that there are no Mistborn. So all of the allomancy that we see is very specific to one, like it is someone who has honed their allomancy really well. Like
Yeah.
we get to see Wax do some crazy thing with his steel pushing.
Like he frees. I think we were commenting in the prologue, like at one about pushing on bullets in midair. In one
Yeah.
point, he freezes the bullets in midair and shoots them right back at some.
Yeah, like in this scene, he literally stops bullets, which is really cool.
If you're gonna be the good guy and you're gonna be the main character, you've got to be really cool, right? Like that's just a prerequisite.
Yeah. Yeah.
So all of this stuff is going on, and even in the middle of all that excitement, Wax has got his like detective hat on, right? He hears a voice and he's like, I know that voice. I recognize that voice. Miles? Is it the same Miles that we've heard referenced several times already in this book? We'll find out. Stay tuned.
If this one
It's
dies.
probably not, though.
This
I
one gets
mean-
shot.
I was like, he gets shot. We don't see his body at the end.
He gets shot and he crumples to the ground.
But he's
So
probably dead.
there comes a point in all this fighting where Marasi actually is, she's a hostage at this point, so Wax jumps in and saves her life and tosses her a gun and says, just start shooting if anybody gets close. And he goes back into the fray and he beats up a bunch more people, shoots a bunch more people, whatever. And he gets to a point where he's like out of bullets and he's like, okay, this is going to be tough. And then all of a sudden a shot comes out of nowhere and Marasi saves the day.
Also, I would like to say she kind of saved herself a little bit because she did in fact headbutt the dude.
She did,
Oh,
but
yeah.
To break
I'm
out of his hold. Wax helped. I would say, but it wasn't just that Wax did everything. Wax got
You
it
are
so that the
correct.
gun was off of her, so that she could then actually like hit him.
Right. I'm comfortable, however, saying that Wax came to her rescue because without his presence,
Correct.
she wouldn't have had that opportunity, and she herself thanks him for saving her.
Correct.
Yeah. Quick note, because we were commenting on it earlier. He breathed deeply, dropping his revolvers, and pulled out the Tearing Gold 27 he had strapped to the inside of his calf. Not the largest caliber gun, but its long barrel made it precise. And then he shoots like hollow points with it.
So it's not a shotgun. It's like just a long barrel.
No, it's like the
It's Batman.
fantasy equivalent of a 22. It's like a competition pistol, maybe.
I'm thinking like in oh shoot, why can't I remember the actor's name? Who played Joker in the first live action movie? Jack Nicholson. It's Jack Nicholson pulling out the ridiculously long barrel.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think that was the first Batman movie.
Pretty sure it
Okay,
was.
excusing Adam West.
That doesn't count for reasons.
It's a TV movie.
Anywho,
But Marasi does great.
Yep. She pulls her own weight. She does a good job.
She doesn't
and
freeze.
Everything finally kind of calms down, and just as they're taking out the last of the baddies, the constables show up. Which you would think would be the end of a chapter because it's like a break, but it's not the end of the chapter. Because the constables decide, or at least one in particular, decides that he's gonna rip Wax a new one for playing hero and being a civilian and doing all the pew pew when he doesn't have the mandate of the people or what have you. And Wax is like, yeah, where were you all? And he kind of throws it back in their face after kind of just sitting and taking it politely for a while. He's like, yep. Fight
Dude,
me.
that
wrecks
was
this guy.
so sick when he
Brettin gets burned.
It was very satisfying.
Yeah. He literally
He even
said,
makes a comment about how he's an idiot. Like, oh, well, if you've only got half a mind, maybe we should do that, and then tomorrow you'll find the rest of your mind.
Uh-huh.
I have a moral responsibility.
So Wax joins Marasi and Wayne, who has procured one of the aluminum guns from the bandits by trading, I think it was a picture he drew for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And some rifle bullets, which Wax is kind of like, these don't go together, and Wayne's like, that's a stupid way to make bullets. Because he's Wayne, you know. Lord Harms begs Wax to get Steris back, basically, And Wax is like, "Oh, now that you want something from me, I'm not a total ruffian and barbarian." But he's still willing to help. He's like, "Yes, of course I'm going to get her back. Don't be silly." We learn that Steris is for sure not metalborn in any way, and the four kind of separate for the evening, except that Marasi thanks Wax personally and tells him he should have gone for Steris first, but gives him a little kiss of thanks. And Wax realizes that he maybe at one point in his life might have been all over this chick, but now he's like barely giving her a second thought. And that was his second thought. So they go their separate ways, and Wax invites Wayne to stay at his place for a while they figure all of this out, and they head off. And that's the end of the chapter. Chapter done.
Nicely said. My favorite part was the end where Wayne gets to bunk it with Wax. Something about that. It was just so funny to me. He's like, yeah.
Sleepover!
We're gonna have a LAN party. I'm making waffles.
Exactly.
His pajamas have little cowboy boots on them, and
There's a snake. Sorry. Stop it.
I've been staying at these people's house while they're on vacation, but I think they might be coming back tonight. I don't know. You want any sandwiches?
I left them a piece of bread as thanks for letting me stay in their house.
let's see. When he shoots the one leader, there was a comment on that it couldn't have been Miles because he was a twinborn of a particularly dangerous variety. Ooh.
And he said that Miles wouldn't have gone down that easily.
Yeah. Okay, here's a fun little thing I thought of. So all the bullets going around, and like at one point we see Wayne get shot, and he says he took like another hit. And I love that Wayne, by the way, we learned Wayne is a blood maker, and that he's ferrochemical gold. And he heals based upon bullet wounds. I find that utterly hilarious. I've got enough for one bullet wound left. But
maybe one.
Yeah.
Considering the situation,
yeah,
it's kind of fair.
I'm just imagining people like regulate their gold. Oh, I've got enough for like a paper cut, or I can maybe take a few stabs. But I'm imagining throughout this whole fight.
Yes. Mild, not spoiler. He does use other methods of comparison later on, like regrowing fingers and things like that.
Oh, it gets dark.
But it's fun to see. But we see throughout this battle, like, Wax does not get hit at all. And so I'm wondering if, like, the coat he has on, which is not a mist coat, but it would be cool if, like, throughout the battle, it gets cut up at, like, bottom and it sort of tassels a bit and starts turning into him. He returns to what he was. And he takes back his lawman persona and starts to turn back into that. And then when it cuts to him with the things, he's got the coat off and it's tucked away, and it sort of symbolizes he's putting that back down.
You watch too much anime. It would be a nice visual touch. I will give you that. But it does feel very anime. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm just... I mean, I always imagine, like, the Stormlight Archive, if it was ever to be done in a visual media format, it would be an anime series. There's just no other way to do it.
Animation is the superior art form.
Is it, though?
They comment that the... Yes, it
or
is.
Fantasy.
They comment that the...
Or fantasy.
Okay, that's true. Yes. They comment that the Cullis blood guy is possibly a pewter arm. Which, I love that the pewter arm one has the one that's stuck. And also, can you imagine somebody with Kolos blood and pewter? Not a good combo.
Possibly a redundant combo.
Yeah.
Like, Kolos are super strong. What does pewter give you? Super strength.
So now he's super strength plus.
It just depends. Does it stack, or is it just kind of redundant?
I think it's staff.
I would think so too, but I'm just playing devil's advocate a little. I like to do
That's
that.
all.
Or
It was a
Anything else
regular
for-
pewter arm. Was a regular pewter arm not scary enough anymore? It's era 2, baby. We need to inject some Kolas
now
blood
we
into
need
Kolos blooded.
2 super strengths.
He's like slightly blue, and he's even stronger.
Yeah.
And he can read.
Anything else for? Kind of.
He can, the other guy couldn't.
Yeah.
That's right. Notably, he can read.
Kolos have come a long way since human.
Oh, aluminum guns. Did we talk about the fact that there's aluminum guns now?
Oh yeah, that's
Wax
Yeah.
has one.
Yep, and then Wayne picked
Hold
one
on.
out of the pile of evidence.
Which is
oh, and Marasi's good
Traded.
with sniper rifles.
pretty
Yes.
crazy.
Just rifles.
Like we've talked to I feel like we've only scratched the surface of what aluminum is capable of in the non-spoiler section. So just know it's pretty significant.
We do also see they have, so when the guy takes Wayne's hat, he removes his hat, but he has like I'm guessing like a rag over his head, and that has aluminum netting underneath it. We do also see that. So they're also prepared against rioters and soothers.
Hmm.
Pretty much covered.
Which makes sense that you would want to protect your gang of thieves from rioters and
Right, their desire to surrender or
yeah.
soothe away their courage.
Or riot them into mutinying.
Okay, but now I gotta wonder if you have somebody that like physically can't, like somebody whose brain is like chemically imbalanced, it cannot feel like certain emotions or feels them wrong. Would soothing and rioting affect them the normal way?
It seems unlikely.
Wait,
I mean,
so what's the
if
question?
they,
It would-
yeah,
So if you have somebody that literally cannot, that has taken like a sociology test and they feel joy when they see harm, or they feel sadness when they see like a puppy or something, or like some way that they are not the main average. They're I
Okay.
don't want to see evil because I know that it's more so a morality thing, it's choice. But if you have somebody like that, somebody in this situation
somebody
who's
who
doing bad
is a
things,
diagnosed sociopath.
doing evil things, would soothing and rioting affect them in the same way or in any way at all?
Yeah,
Um,
probably.
I think it would affect them, but maybe not in the same way. I don't know.
Definitely affect them. But
The more I think about it, the more I think that because what you're doing is you're enhancing an emotion that's present with the allomancy, you're not creating a stimulus for it. So if you want them to feel happy, they feel happy. They might think, "Hey, that's weird. Usually puppies make me want to kick babies, but now I find them cuddly and adorable." You know, it might be a dead giveaway, but I would think it would still affect them normally, right? Like you're still pulling on the same emotions.
Or
It's
what if
just
it
that
gets or what if there's like a therapist who's like doing it generally and just like suddenly this one person gets really murder happy and he's like trying to, oh, think of nice calm thoughts, and he's writing that, and it just makes the guy worse because his calm thoughts are like babies crying, because I don't want this to get too dark.
I mean, then the therapy wouldn't work correctly. But again, he's enhancing an emotion, or she is enhancing an emotion, not without regard for what stimulates that emotion in the subject.
Anything else for this chapter set?
do you think if you were a comedian who was a writer, you'd be like
That would make you so much money.
You'd be the star of the show.
Unless you're an absolute horrible comedian who couldn't get so much as a tiny bit.
Then people would just get angry at you, and all you could do is make them angrier.
Bro, I bet soothers and rioters make so much money working in pit orchestras.
What's a pit
'Cause
orchestra?
Not only can they play the instrument, that's the orchestra that plays under the stage in a musical.
Oh, okay, got right.
So not only can they play the instrument, but they're also like enhancing the emotional state of the audience so that they react more
Anything
strongly to the show. I think we've lost a reader.
Reader bot, are you still active?
I am back now. Hello. Boop boop. Anything else for this chapter set?
I think that would be cool though, John. The like soothers and writers
soothers in the
an
pit?
orchestra. Yeah,
Yeah.
because to like for like musicals and plays and stuff, it would sway your emotions even more. So
That's
Maybe we'll
basically
see it
what,
in Era 3.
what music is,
Or, like-
man.
yeah, or like having like actors on the stage, like who are soothers and rioters. Like that would be interesting.
Could you Pavlov dog somebody into liking something purely off of like soothing and rioting?
Yes.
Presumably,
even-
yeah.
To the
'Cause
point where
so-
you don't even need to soothe or riot them anymore.
So we saw this in Era 1. So when we're talking when in book 1, the Final Empire, when Breeze is training Vin on how soothing and writing like works, he talks about how like the men might forget what was exactly said at the meeting, but they will remember the strong emotions they were feeling during it. Like,
But,
and those strong emotions will push them towards specific action.
That is a good line. Okay.
There's so many times that thinking about soothing and rioting or any of the powers in Mistborn, I start to wonder if the world is extreme enough or if it's too extreme in the way that people change their lifestyle around the powers. Like, for example, people can soothe and riot emotions. So, one way of thinking of that is why isn't everybody wearing aluminum hats all the time? Like, which
Because
obviously,
aluminum is expensive.
right, it is expensive, I guess. But another way of thinking of it is, well, sure, but a lot of people can manipulate your emotions and are really, really good at soothing and rioting you
Mhm.
just the way that they are. So this is one of those things that always kind of walks the line in my mind of like, how would this really change our society, or would it that much? And I like talking about it with you guys.
Yeah, like in the first series, again, Breeze makes a comment when Vin is talking about how when some I can't remember who it is. Can't remember if it's Vin or not. Someone was talking about how it's like kind of wrong. Like, do you think it's wrong to manipulate someone by use of soothing? And he talks about it and he's like, I mean, it's not really any different than a woman like coming in like wearing a low cut dress specifically to like get specific type of attention that she wants, or like someone coming up and like flattering you in a certain way to get you to do something that they want you to do. It's not really all that different than that.
I believe that was with Vin, but then Hammond butts in and is like, well, that begs the question. If you used
Yeah.
it to cause somebody to do a crime, who's at
Yeah.
fault?
Yeah.
Right. Like,
It's a thing
Okay.
that, like, I guess we can continue this conversation in the spoiler sections. It's not directly related to the content of the chapters.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Sometimes
I
I
do want to
just
continue the conversation.
sometimes I like to. Maybe it's my fault. I feel like I want to pad out the non-spoiler section just for people that might be, But yeah, let's move on.
Okay. Just waiting for it to done. Okay. Well, next time we're going to be covering part 2, chapters 7, 8, and 9. Nobody's called dibs on any of those yet because there are no more ball chapters. But
Yeah.
for now,
Not
it is
yet.
time to head to the spoiler realm. So if you've not finished this book, the entire series, or potentially the entire Cosmere, then we recommend that you stop here because it is likely that we will talk about everything and anything. If you are caught up, feel free to stick around because it is likely that we will bring up details you may have missed or plot threads still yet to come. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, star, heart, whatever it is on this podcast, and don't be afraid to comment your own thoughts and predictions. We would love to hear from you. You can find us on our socials via the link tree in our description. But at this where we must part, then my name is ReaderWarrior, and I have been joined by John,
Hello. Or goodbye.
Kay,
Have a good one.
Swiggity Swoo.
Don't forget.
There's always another catch. We're back. Spoilers.
Okay, so
Okay.
I wanted to continue the conversation that we had started about like how like the magic affects the worlds differently and stuff like that we were kind of talking about before, and that's something that I think about a lot with like a lot of things, because like I feel like when a design team or an author or an artist want to build like this world, they build the world that they envision and then they just slap the magic on it. Like I felt this a lot while I was just playing Final Fantasy 16, right? Because like they do all these cool things and like they're doing all this cool stuff with magic, but really all they're doing is shooting ice bolts and stuff at each other because like they still live in regular ass stone houses and like regular ass castles, and they ride around on like chocobos. Like there's nothing like the magic of the world only exists in a combat sense, or in that very limited way in which they use the like they prescribe the magic, right? They don't think about how, oh well, if I can manipulate stone, I can, instead of making a wall out of rocks, I could form a solid rock wall that is a single piece and it will be that much more strong, or whatever other crazy thing that these, this society might have developed with access to those abilities. I think about that a lot.
Yeah.
You want to hear a
Like
really weird
I
comparison?
was,
Sorry.
I was gonna say I like how Sanderson does it in this book, where like we see like Wax mentions that they use that steel that that people use steel. I'm blanking on the term right now. Steel
Pushing?
pushers, steel pushers.
Coin shots?
Coin
Coin
shots?
shots. Thank you. That's the word I was looking. That was what I was.
Yeah, as
That coin
messengers.
shots
Yeah.
are used as messengers around the
Mm-hmm.
city, like because they can get fat places faster. Like
Yes. Or how the
And there
Southern
was.
Scadrians actually make magical contraptions. Like they're
Mhm.
actually implementing the special things that they have as part of their society, and it makes up like it actually affects like how they interact with one another.
And there was, I believe there is, in reference in like book 2 or 3 or something, that there was like a law passed where people aren't allowed to use their powers willy-nilly or for corporate gain.
Well, that's nonsense.
It was like,
Can't use
because they
elemency
go to one
for.
of the carriage people, and he's like, "Oh, but you would have a coin shot. Keep an eye on your carriages, which is illegal due to this thing." And I can't remember the specific line or It has to be. It has to be Shadows. I don't remember which.
I was going to say, I feel like that happens in a later book, but I have a vague recollection of what you're talking about.
Yeah, it happens in Shadows because they're trying to track down a specific cabin, which I think had Bleeder in it. I don't remember. Okay.
Well, I like that we're
really
in the
weird.
spoiler section, so we can. It's
We can
fine
talk
to
about
later
anything.
books, but
Yeah, we can. Okay, but weird comparison. Zootopia did it really well, where you see like the world has like worked with the animals and how they're all different sizes and have different things. But then you've got
Yeah.
what's the
And
one with
how
the elves?
the I would say in Zootopia they have like the different quadrants for different types of animals who live in the city, and they have like water areas. They have a lot of rivers like flowing through the cities. Aquatic creatures can get around easily, like things like that, which is really
And then there was the magic one with the elves. What's
I'm
that
gonna
movie
need
called?
a little bit more than
Onward. It was the Onward one. But then in Onward, everybody just uses Earth style stuff, like the pixies on, which are like yay big, are on like a normal sized motorcycle. So it's like
it's
showcasing.
so
Those
funny.
are like the two good. It's really good with Zootopia, really bad at Onward.
Actually,
Uh,
seen Onward.
I guess my pick for this, since sounds like we're doing a round table at this point.
A little bit.
The From Software games, the Elden Ring and Dark Souls and Bloodborne, uh, their use of environments and item descriptions is like, as we were talking about, they're very in depth and um, everything kind of lines up. Everywhere you are is like telling a story. You never just go to a cool looking castle. It's always like a part of the story that's being told, and you can infer things from it, and it's like an event happened, and there's evidence of it. And obviously Sanderson is a huge fan of those games, so I can see like similar through lines of thinking in his writing.
Stepping back from world building, chapter 4. We do have a Hoid sighting. At the wedding, Hoid came
Is-
to reception dressed as a beggar wearing black to offer his congratulations. The reason Hoid is friends with Josh and Michelle, which are references to real people, are still unknown. Perhaps they're world hoppers themselves. It could just be that Brandon wrote Hoid meeting with the cameos purely so that the people could say like, "Oh, we met Hoid," kind of.
yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
The only thing I could think of relevance to say is like we did just see finally with the end of Winds in Truth, like the scene of him popping into this world.
Yeah, that's true. Why didn't Wax recognize it? Is he his character?
No,
Yeah.
he's
Should be,
not
'cause
his carriage driver yet. He's not
he's
his
not?
carriage driver until Shadows of. So he becomes the carriage driver in Shadows of Self. It's mentioned that Wax hired a new carriage driver because his
Gotcha.
old one quit.
So does that mean that Wind and Truth thing happens in between this book and next book? Because isn't he going to get the job as the carriage driver?
So
It must be a period of
we
time.
so there could very easily be a period of time between when Hoid resurrects himself versus when when he gets the job as the carriage driver.
True.
Because I think
Maybe he gets
what's
there and he has to
that-
check
what's
in with Harmony first.
what's the he does not. What's the time jump?
Wait, that's right. He's like, actively avoiding everything.
No.
He's actively avoiding all of the shards.
I take that back.
What's the
Well,
what's the
not
time jump
necessarily
between
Harmony.
Alloy of Law? Do we know what the time jump is between Alloy of Law and
It's
Shadows
1
of
year, I
Self?
thought. I can quickly check.
Yeah, no, Hoid is actively avoiding interacting with every shard in it.
I don't think so much for Harmony though, because he was like writing him back and forth with Harmony.
Yeah, but
right
he's
before
also
this.
like been on Harmony's world a lot, and Harmony hasn't noticed him, so he's definitely like trying to keep a low profile.
I could see them having a conversation. I have difficult seeing it with most other shards, but Harmony I could see.
He might,
Especially because he's the only shard that has.
because of how much influence Harmony has on Wax, like, and especially in the later books, like Harmony is interacting with Wax a lot. Like, I feel like Harmony probably has to know that like Hoid is there.
He could have, in fact, like asked Hoid to keep an eye on him for him, help him steer him in the past, considering Harmony's little.
I feel like if
puppeteering
Harmony had asked to do that, Hoid would have said, like, would have just like not.
Well, you gotta remember, this is meant to be in preparation for the potential Odium
Yeah, but Hoid
invasion
does
threat. So I feel like
whatever
Hoid
he
takes
wants.
that a bit. Okay, but Hoid would take that at least a bit seriously.
True. The game has
Yeah.
kind of changed.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else in chapter 4. Oh yeah, sliverism is mentioned in this chapter, not in the last chapter. This chapter. The thing about Iron Eyes is religion is in this chapter. I wasn't going crazy. I don't go crazy.
You don't have to go crazy. You already are.
Yes, I
Yeah.
am.
Correct.
Does that just
The
mean
thing is,
somebody read ahead? Dun dun dun.
I also have read ahead, but
Yeah, so did I. It's hard not to with the audiobooks.
When
Yeah.
It is, especially with the fact that there's no epigraphs in this.
Doesn't it
Yeah.
say chapter?
It
Number?
does, but when you're just listening to it, like sometimes I won't notice when it says like chapter 7. Like I won't like like when I was listening to it this week, I didn't realize that I was in the middle of chapter 7 until I like looked down and I saw that the like when I looked at my phone and saw that it said like chapter 7, and I was like, oh, I'm in this chapter. It did not register that it like, announced that I was starting a new chapter.
Two things. One are about. So the reason Arms doesn't care for Marasi is because she's secretly like his daughter with a mistress. I thought, right?
Yes, that's correct. It is because she is mistake.
She's what?
She's the mistake
Ah,
that like yeah, that she is the child that he had with a mistress, that he slept with someone else and had her, and it destroyed his relationship with Steris.
okay.
And so he is taking care of her. He wishes Wax saved Steris instead, because like Steris is the daughter that he actually cares about.
Mm-hmm. And
He's
then
only
there was.
funding Marasi's education out of he feels like he has to.
And then I think we can really see. I think Brandon really wanted to have Wax with Marasi for this book, or to hint at it, because he's not exactly painting Steris in the best light.
But at the same time, like Wax is like twice her age.
Yeah, but Alrianne Breeze.
And your point.
Hyperbole and Brennan has done it slightly before.
I suppose.
So do we need to get into Vasher and Vienna?
We have
Vivenna, not Vienna.
Vienna,
Vivenna.
sorry.
We
She's not a
also have.
sausage.
No, I'm talking about the city in France.
There is also like no actual like confirmation if they had a romantic relationship.
They totally did not.
Yeah. So like they feel like
We'll
their
get to that
relationship
real
is
quick.
like entirely platonic.
We can get to that more right. But like the part where she gets really flustered and embarrassed and goes to like the bathroom feels very out of character for what we get of Steris later down the line.
Yeah, I think they do evolve as characters as the books go on, and I'm pretty happy with the trajectory that it ends up taking. And when I was first reading Alloy of Law, I definitely thought, okay, Wax and Marasi are gonna somehow get together and it's all gonna work out, you know.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, but going back through, I guess in this chapter at least, and we'll have to see how it goes with the rest of the book. It seems vague enough to be like, oh no, could have gone either way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. Wax. I'm gonna argue this. Is it Wax? Honestly, has no at this point in his he has no interest in Marasi romantically.
Yes.
Like he like kind of he makes that clear multiple times that he has no like romantic interest in her at all.
Yeah,
Like
but having read a half dozen chapters
She has
ahead, I have that
interest in
reminder.
him.
she has a
She
huge crush
does
on him.
absolutely have a big old like hero worship type crush on him, and Wax does kind of entertain the thought, partly from his own just like, well, she's really into the same stuff I am, and all of that. And then Wayne is also there, like, she's all smart and stuff, eh? So he kind of.
Wayne just hates Steris for no reason.
Well, we don't hate
No,
Steris.
He kind of.
he has his reasoning for disliking Steris is that she is too uptight.
Came off a
essentially.
little strong.
I think she's like
She
the
is too
epitome of
organized. She and Wayne are on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wayne is too chaotic for Steris, and Steris too organized for Wayne. They just like are complete opposites.
Also imagine
Yes.
this is
Ow.
she's the reason. She's the epitome of what has taken my best friend / father figure away from me. And I blame her specifically for that. And then there are the other things. Chapter 5?
I mean,
Sure.
we're not really going by chapters. We're just kind of talking right now.
Yeah, we really.
Okay, chapter 5. I find it fascinating that Wayne cannot hold a gun, does not like touching them, but he's still like, hey, did you bring a gun? We could really use a gun right now. Because
he knows that they're used. Just because he can't use one doesn't mean that he doesn't like acknowledge their usefulness.
But I kind of like that because like Batman like cannot use gun, but also won't let anybody else use a gun near him.
Yeah.
So it like kind of takes away. I like that. The masked man is Miles.
Yep, Miles 100 lives.
Is he playing dead?
Yes, he's
Yeah.
he's playing dead because he's trying to throw Wax off because he knows that Wax is gonna recognize him. So he plays dead to try and get Wax to think that it's not him.
Get him off
So
the chair.
there's one point in chapter 4 where where Marasi's like, "Oh, 1 month after you left the Roughs is when all of this started happening." That's right when Miles started doing stuff. And then there's also they have I cannot remember this guy's name. The Colas blood person checks the table for loot, and then you see Miles sort of
Tarson.
walk Tarson. Miles sort of walk with him, and then he sees Wax, pauses, and then continues to go around him and sort of not get close because he does not want Wax to recognize him. I'm kind of
Yeah.
annoyed Wayne doesn't, considering he's spent more recent time with him, possibly.
Wayne should
Well,
have
but
recognized his voice. Yeah.
Yeah, right?
at this point, we actually don't know if Wayne recognized him or not. Also, Wayne's not the detective.
Yeah, but a whole thing in book 2 is,
Just
hey, I
saying.
recognize that person doing that voice wrong. So,
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got a thing for voices. But I guess he has
That's
more of
fair.
a thing for accents. I don't know if that's a difference.
Yes, that is a
but
difference.
every voice has a different accent.
Like, I've always considered to myself to have a good ability to recognize people's voices, but I don't know about accents. Like Wayne knows about accents. You know, maybe he can't recognize voices, but he knows about accents.
Wax would make a good Skybreaker, I think. But like the
Yes.
good kind of Skybreakers.
Actually, no. Wax breaks the law too much.
He's holding himself to a higher law, though.
He would be a better windrunner.
Don't think, because this whole thing is I want justice to come to the people who do not. It's not, I want to protect them. It's I want justice to be given.
I think Marasi would more be a Skybreaker.
Yeah.
See, I think Marasi might. I think they could both be Skybreakers. I think Wayne.
Wax is not.
No, there are no Skybreakers
Wax-
in this book.
Wax is not willing to work within the law to get what he wants. Wax will 110% every single time break the law if he
Yeah,
thinks that it will
To
help
do
him
what's right.
achieve his goal and
Wax
help
is a
people.
truth watcher.
But the thing is, we see him work with the law in book 2.
He does. I'm not saying that he completely ignores. He is very selective on when he actually follows the law. As we see in this instance, he does not have the lawful authority to fight those bandits. But he does it
True.
anyway because he knows that it's the right thing to do.
But wouldn't that just depend upon what Skybreaker owes? Because the whole I will seek justice, and he's
I mean,
all about that.
if he has reached the 5th, but no,
I
because
am the law.
even then, no, because we see all of the Skybreakers, they follow the laws of that whatever area that they are in.
No. We see
Yes.
Nail, who is cuckoo.
Yes, and we also see Seth. Seth also does that.
But I
He
think
also
Wax's
follows the law.
attraction to like the roughs is less about him
Yeah, he's
wanting to
following
follow the codes of law. That's more of him being like, finally, I don't have to sit through the bureaucracy. I can just put gun to face when crime is afoot.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's crime.
Wax is absolutely a detective. I am sticking to my guns. He is a truth watcher. I will find the truth. I will learn the truth regardless of who it hurts. I will figure out the mystery. I will solve it. Never mind that he's doing it with a gun. He's doing
I
it.
could see that. Okay, I'm gonna check to see if on Wax's page it's got what order it would be in.
I highly
No,
doubt it.
there's no way. There's no way.
Brandon has sometimes.
Wayne is an edge dancer.
That'd be a good
100%.
a good question to ask him.
Yeah, no, Wayne is definitely an edge dancer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Remembering those, I will listen to those whose voices have been lost.
I will listen to those who have been ignored. Yeah.
I will remember
Oh.
those who have been forgotten. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
He is not. They said that Wayne received an award since Wax did just as much. Okay. Nope, nothing in the trivia. Okay. Let's see what else. That was all I had for chapter 5. Oh, lucky hat.
Do they still
I
shoot
haven't died
coins?
wearing that hat.
I ain't never
hasn't died
died wearing that hat.
Oh, I never died wearing that hat. Do they
He
shoot
ain't never died
coins
wearing
in
the
Era
shirt.
too?
Sometimes. So we see Wax do it occasionally, not very often, because generally he has a gun instead, and the gun can shoot faster than the coins. But he does have, like, he has the one metal button on his shirt that he has in case of
Mm-hmm.
emergencies. Um,
Right. I remember the one metal button trick,
mhm.
which is so cool. I was just wondering because they still call them coin shots.
Yeah, because that's the name, even though they don't shoot coins anymore. We still say hang up, even
Yeah.
though, like, we're
We don't
no
hang
longer
up the phone anymore.
actually
Roll out the
hanging up the
window.
phone.
Right.
Like,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep. There's no rolling being done.
yeah.
Okay. Chapter 6. There was a brief little comment how there must have been something special about tapping weight because they don't crush themselves. And I never realized that. I thought that was a nice detail. I just love the image of Wayne riding one of the tables as Wax
Oh, yeah,
pushes it.
that's so funny. Writing it, I know this isn't like how it actually is, but I picture him like riding it like a board.
Oh yeah.
Like a
Even though I
surfboard.
think he's just like, I think he's like laying on it and like holding to it. But like, I think it would be funnier if he was like riding it like a surfboard.
No, he's
You-
1000% skating. Like
Miles fakes being dead because he can compound gold.
Yeah.
okay. So excuse me. The compounding gold thing.
Mhm.
Um I am loath to admit this, but it doesn't make sense to me. Right? The idea is you're burning the gold that you have stored stuff in ferrochemically, right?
Correct.
So wouldn't that just enhance your allomantic power
No,
with gold, i.e., make you an uber auger?
if
No,
you
it
look it up.
if you store an aspect into metal ferrochemically, and then you burn that metal, like Vin tries to do with Sazed's rings, what happens, Kay?
so it essentially like it increases the
But it
output that you get from it.
also,
Right.
instead
When
of getting the
burning the metal.
allomantic power, you get the ferrochemical power,
Yes.
which is the key element
Yeah.
to. Because otherwise,
And
you're
it
right. You would
and
just be getting like gold visions of yourself.
yeah, and it increases the amount of ferrochemical power you can get out of it.
Here's what it says on the copper mine. To
So
understand the
that it
mechanics
works
for this
better.
ability, one must
That's the whole
understand the
compounding
differences
thing.
between Allomancy is considered N positive, meaning power is drawn from an outside source, preservation. Feruchemy is N neutral, with the power for the magic being drawn directly from the user. The amount of investiture drawn out of a metal mine is equal to and limited by the amount of investiture that was stored in the first place. The type of metal acts as a focus, determining the form in which the magic manifests. When compounding is performed, the nature of the investiture is already stored in the metal mine. The nature of the investiture already stored in the metal mine determines the form taken by the magic. Thus, ferrochemical attributes are released. However, because the allomancy is fueled by preservation, the amount of investiture released is amplified. It is as if a previously hand-powered device were hooked up to an electric cord to provide greater power output.
So essentially, because so
Yeah, I follow what he's saying.
yeah.
I don't like it though. I don't like it. You get it's no, I don't like it.
Quote from says it, if the ferrochemist were also an allomancer, he might be able to burn his own metal storages, releasing the energy within them tenfold.
Right, but he
if you were
doesn't
able to
say
make,
there. Go ahead.
if you were able to make up the ferrochemical storages yourself, then burn them for extra power, it would basically boost that. So it's like you're tapping it and then charging it at the same time.
Well, it's
You're not charging it.
pre-charged from.
I'm saying charging as in like you're adding an extra level of energy to it.
Yeah.
That's you burning it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
burning
when
it doesn't do what I
Right.
I just don't like the way it works.
That's the
I
weird
understand
part.
the principle, the way it's been implemented. I don't like it. I don't think it makes sense. I think it does not follow logically.
I think it just
But it is
shows
what it is. So
how the magics are sort of like tangled together weird like.
That was a crux for me. I didn't understand it for the longest time. Just trying to realize that, oh, like after you've stored something in it, then once you burn it, you get the ferrochemical ability back out of it. You don't
yeah,
get the
and that
allomancy.
doesn't make sense. Like you're not using ferrochemy, you're using allomancy, and burning the ferrochemical investiture, you should get a power boost in your allomancy, not super ferrochemy.
But what it is, so the investiture is keyed to ferrochemy. The investiture that is stored at metal is keyed to ferrochemy. So when you burn it, even though you're burning it using allomancy, the investiture that you're accessing is ferrochemy investiture. So that ferrochemy investiture able to pull out that power that's already keyed to that, as well as the extra, you're also able to pull power directly from preservation to fuel that ferrochemy, because that's the key that you're using to pull that investiture through.
So it's not that allomancy is enhancing, it's more like you're just getting radiant energy from preservation that accidentally enhances it because they're mixing together.
Whoa. So if you could, okay, this is going to add on one more layer of complexity, which is, we find out later that identity is tied to investiture, and that's why you can only access your ferrochemy that you have stored away and not somebody else's. But then we find out there's like a way to kind of unidentify the investiture, and anybody could potentially tap it. So if you what if you were like devious and you stored an attribute in a metal and then somehow got an allomancer to burn it, could you make like a slow poison?
You cut out for a second there, Swiggity.
Oh, sorry. I was just wondering if you could
Right
like
at the yeah.
if you could store something in a metal and then get an allomancer to burn it as like a poison.
Like what would you store in the metal that would be poison?
Like sense of pain.
I would want to.
Or
Well, yeah,
the Marasi's time bubble.
that's what I was thinking. A slow poison.
Well, but like Marasi's time bubble is allomancy, not ferrochemy.
So what
Right.
you would need to do is have
have
it
to be something
force someone to
ferrochemical.
store speed.
Or
But-
what?
I
You
see.
could
The only way I
store
can
your
see that
weight
is if
and then
like
make somebody super heavy.
Poss- or
Possibly.
or we were seeing like um Wax's
But
sister in book 10 was able to store her sense of pain somehow. Maybe
I
you could trick somebody in tapping that, and then suddenly like they feel pain, like shadow stabs or injuries that they did not
maybe
receive.
the issue with tricking someone is that accessing it does require intent.
But
So
does
True.
so if I were to swap a person's metal minds and it getting
Ah,
rid of all
there.
the identity, getting rid of all the identity stuff, so it's like a perfect thing. Is it mentally I am tapping my metal mind or am I tapping this metal mind?
so let's say you have an allomancer and you give them a piece of metal that you have stored something in, but you don't tell them that you've stored something in it. I don't think they would be able to access it while burning it because it still requires intent. You would have to know that you are actively, I think that you
Counterpoint.
require intent to know that
The
Well,
it
a
Southern
has
normal
Scadrian
been stored there.
medallions that transfer connection to create the language connection, there is no intent when they use those. They just pick it up and they suddenly understand another language.
well, they intend
No,
that they want to speak that person's language. But the thing
yes,
is,
that's the
on
intent.
your point, Kay, it would not work for a Mistborn. It would have to be a twinborn or somebody, or there would have to be, the
But
ferrochemical
again, it
nature.
would have to be intent that the person was intending that they knew that it was a metal mine.
Yes,
It would
but
have to be
if
the
you could
perfect
swap them,
crime.
and so they think, so I don't think they could
Yeah.
accidentally do that. But if my thing where if you swap the person's metamind, like if somebody was a ferochemist or a twinborn that could tap whatever the one that stores senses is, tin,
10.
which is a I don't remember the term. Whatever. If you were to swap those so they are knowingly tapping that attribute, would you be able to trick them then?
So they store their, or they get all their senses at once.
Yes. So if it is an attribute that you are wanting to inflict them with, but it is an attribute they are
I
knowingly storing and can tap.
I just think it would be really funny if you could like get someone to
I don't
swallow
know.
something and then like all of a sudden they have super speed and they didn't plan for this.
I don't know because of that requirement of intent if it would work the same way.
But intent could be tricked. Like we've seen intent be finicky.
Yeah, but that's the only thing that I would be hesitant
I mean,
about with what you're saying.
Hoid manipulated intent with the sorceress.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Do, 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 do. We get the terminology bloodmaker for ferrochemical gold. Do, 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 do. Wax hits 16. Wax takes care of 16 people. That's funny. Do, 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 do. So, okay. So the constable that Wax meets with, Brettin,
Mhm.
there's a whole thing about him I was not even aware of.
Oh, here we go.
Let me pull up his Coppermind again real quick. So later in the book, Wayne goes and has a conversation with a suspect, right?
Yep.
And there's a whole funny scene about that. Sometime after this, Captain Brettin was killed in an unrelated matter. Harmony, seeing an opportunity, sent Tensoon to retrieve Bretton's corpse and impersonate him. Those who knew Bretton could detect something was off. Tensoon used Bretton's bone to submit a backdated request to the Senate for a citywide deputized forbearance for Wax. This freed him from any charges occurred during his investigation of the Vanishers, and granted him powers of investigation and arrest. He informed Wax of this action after Wax and Marasi's final confrontation with Miles. How afterwards, Bretton, still being impersonated by Tensoon, retired. and laid his bones to rest. I don't remember Tensoon ever being a part of this.
Whoa.
I think they reveal it in the third book after they reveal the whole thing about
Phantom Morning.
Yes,
yeah.
that's the third book.
I have no memory of this whole Brettin thing.
That sounds to
It-
me like
It's after they reveal who Bleeder is and like what Harmony wants of Wax. It's like in that whole spiel.
I just have no memory.
So that's in Shadows. So
Okay, so I guess we'll get there in like a month.
I have no memory of any of that. And then the guy who's with him, Reddy. That's funny.
Reddy becomes the constable.
Mhm. He's the one who
lead
hires
person.
like Marasi.
Yeah. Yeah, we see much more of him.
And my last thing is, can you imagine a Kolos blood with a pewter twinborn compounder?
we imagined
That
it
would
earlier.
suck.
Sounded
No,
horrible.
a compounder.
A
A
compounder.
twin board
Oh.
compounder. Computer. That would be someone hella strong.
He's proud.
But the downside, so honestly though, storing strength, I don't know, it's not always that great.
No, but if you can compound
Tapping
it,
it
you
is.
wouldn't have to do it for more than like a couple seconds. Think about it. I'm gonna store strength for a couple of seconds as I burn pewter to make my strength stronger, and then I'm gonna do it again. You can cycle that one endlessly to become infinitely strong for in any amount of time.
Look at the Lord Ruler.
That's dumb. I don't think the Lord Ruler thought of that one. The implications here are just bonkers.
Well, Lord
Well,
Ruler
the
just
Lord
like
Ruler-
slaps Kelsier's head off, right? So imagine if a Kolos blood was doing
The
it.
Lord Ruler
Well,
was
realistically-
worried about anyone like challenging him, so he like, didn't want anyone else to become
Also,
killed.
I think the Lord Ruler only compounded like atium and healing. I don't think he ever really does it
That
with any
is
of the
all
other
that
metals.
we know for sure that he compounded.
Yeah, dude's got 1,000 years of compounding to like that we
Yeah.
don't see.
Yeah.
He must have tried everything.
I mean,
You know, today I'm gonna try this one. Storing smells sucks, guys. It's like, oh my god, you guys all smell horrible. We need to invent
you
showers.
don't want to smell everything. Oh, that's a good one.
Like, oh god, oh me.
Can you store your emotions? Like,
I mean,
I'm
potentially.
gonna store my sadness for later and then compound it.
He compounds, it's like, guys,
right? Like,
I feel so regretful for killing my friends, but not the ska.
the
But just for
implications.
all of the ferrochemists that I turned into blobs of meat, I feel so sad about that, guys. Sir, what about the ska people that you've enslaved and turned? It's like, oh, I hate those guys still.
I just got to get through this meeting.
I don't think you can store
You can
Can't there?
store.
or determination, which is like really interesting. How would that work? So
Well, it's determination to the best that we know of in current yada yada.
yeah.
Because
Like,
I think
what
one
does
of them
that
is like
mean?
storing destiny or something, and I think that's been rewritten.
That actually kind of tracks with psychology. I feel like
No.
people only have so much willpower.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or storing breath, which is the one where he stores he should start gasping.
Stores breath, stores energy.
Stores 5,000 songs.
Wakefulness, the Lord Ruler's just like every time people think he's just being imposing, he's just
He's storing his wakefulness. I'm not sleeping. I'm just storing my wakefulness.
My last thing about this chapter set is I really hope that in the movies when they sort of redo all this and go after this with now that we know the full scope, we get rid of the Marasi wax possibility thing. Sort of do Steris a little bit better in this.
No, I feel like it needs that kind of decision in the early stages.
Yeah.
It needs to. It
Wax
shows
needs to choose Steris.
right.
he
It shows his
chooses
commitment
her.
to her.
But Wax
and-
can
and-
choose. Sorry.
Well, I get that.
But
It's
Wax
like
can-
you don't have Lessie around anymore, so it would feel almost kind of cheap. But with Marasi around to kind of represent that side of him, the younger, you know, I don't know if it's quite a 1-to-1 match, but having somebody else in there because pretty much at this point it is like an arranged marriage. Like it's just this contract, and you know, like you
But I
someone
think you
said,
could.
having him choose.
But I think you could establish like the Steris being that and Marasi being that, and having his decision come between Steris and I don't know how to, and being a lawman or seeking
But he doesn't have
to
to
go out
choose
into the
between.
mist.
He in
But
fact does
doesn't-
not choose between those two things.
I know, but there's a big thing in this book about him doing that, and you can establish Marasi just being a representative of that without her being the love interest, where she represents him going out, doing all those things
But-
versus Steris.
but
You
the
can have
thing-
Steris be a love interest, and then the freedom just
doesn't-
being.
But here's the thing. He chooses both of those things, though.
And I think that is good story. I
Like,
don't want Marasi being in the mix.
Why?
I'm fine with.
I think that Marasi having her little crush on Wax is fair, and it is good
It's-
for her character to
Yeah.
see her character. She's looked up to him for years. She's looked up to this man, and then suddenly she's met with her idol. She's oh my god, he's amazing, he's fantastic, whatever. And she meets him, and she's like, oh, you're not what I was expecting you to be. And she has to kind of come to terms with he's an actual person. and
Well,
and
okay.
kind of
I'm not saying I don't want Marasi to have that. I like Marasi having that hero worship and that crush and coming to the realization of that. I don't like Wax having an interest in her. I'm fine with her having a one-sided crush.
here's
I
the
don't
thing.
want Wax having
Wax's
the interest
Wax's
in her.
interest is so minor. It is so minor.
I just-
Mostly it's Wayne pushing Wax. Wax, even in
But you can but you
his
can see him give it a thought. Like he has that she's like half my
Yeah.
age, and then
of
he thinks about it for a bit. I would just cut that part out. Just get rid of that. Get rid of the tiny little comments that add nothing. All it does is take away a bit from me. I like Marasi crushing on Wax. I like Wayne trying to use her as the symbolism of young and carefree and being interested in the roughs.
You're a Superman fan, aren't you?
Absolutely, yes. But
It shows because you want your hero to be perfect. You
No,
want
I
your
don't.
main character not to be tempted by the things that are in front of him. Of
No.
course, a man is going to consider the possibility when he sees that she is obviously interested. He's gonna think about that. Any man who doesn't isn't paying attention, and the same would be true the other way around.
But I can
It makes
want
him
him to be
human.
she has a crush on me. I have no interest in it though.
There's a
would
little
like
bit of a
that.
will they, won't they, kind of tension, a little bit of a forbidden romance possibility, kind of tension. It's just building tension. That's all it is. You know, w- I think earlier when I said I thought they were going to end up together, it was more based on the stereotype of that usually happening than actually the words on the page. Um, and
Yeah, and one of the things I
real,
really like is that it breaks that stereotype.
yeah, it makes the characters feel a little bit more realistic to have these kind of back and forth. All said and done, maybe if it's not as tight of a storyline, but
I just- Yes, I'm a Superman fan, but I do want the character to have temptation. I just don't think a relational or sexual or I don't know what the specific word of the more scientific slash adult term of crushing on somebody. I don't think that needs to be the temptation. I think what she represents can be, but not her as a person.
Riz. We should move on.
Yeah. Well, anybody have
Just,
anything else?
you're
for this
wrong, you're
chapter
wrong, you're
set?
wrong. Sit there in your wrongness and be wrong.
Be wrong.
For those of you who are
Please.
paying attention, that's a West Wing reference.
Mm-hmm. That episode the other day. Your blood pressure's over this. In case it's this. We can have sex now. Just a joke only
Not
for
you
us.
and me.
Yeah.
Well, that'll
And
about
I'm
do
assuming
it
that
for
isn't
the
for me.
Cosmere Connections podcast. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, okay. I'll do.
We've officially strayed from the pack.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Like Swiggity was saying, that's just about gonna cover it for this episode. Thank you so much for joining us in our ramblings and predictions. And this has been Cosmere Connections, and we hope you'll tune in next time.
Did you just say Cosmere.connections?
Did I?
I think you did.
Yeah, Cosmere _/XX. Swiggity Swoo.
Don't forget.
There's always another character. Bye.
Nailed it.
Reader,
Nailed it with
in
that.
the wrong order. You started with John and it threw me off.
It really messed with me. Like, you're lucky I was paying attention.
I figured I'd throw you guys a curveball every once in a while.
Me too. I had something good in the chamber and then I totally lost it. That was good.
You totally messed up Swiggity Swoo.
I'm so sorry. This is because I have my phone with the script and it was covering up and I typically go by, just because I don't trust my memory, I go by below me, then go up and it loops around. But it was covering that, and so all during the beginning I was like, "Oh, it's that time," and I'll do it the other way this time just to be certain that I got one of them right.
We lost power last night, and today when I got home, the clocks were still like blinking, and I set the clock time on the oven, but then I noticed the microwave had one too, and I was like, "Ugh, clocks!" Like everybody just looks at their phone anyways, and I was like, "You know what? I'm just gonna set this one to a random time."
It
That
is hilarious.
I love it.
Chaotic.
It's still
It is
like
hilarious
that.
to me that you're talking about that, because as we were just wrapping up, I noticed that my laptop had the wrong time, and I had to fix it because it was set for Pacific time zone. I'm like, it's not 5 o'clock.
It literally
I've been
drives
digitizing.
crazy when like clocks are wrong. Like, because I look at them and I'll be like, wait, what? And then I'll realize that the clock is wrong. And I'm like, it annoys me. It always annoys me so much.
Gotta
It's a,
sneak over to Kay's house and just mess with all of her clocks.
it
What
does
is your
feel
tolerance for that?
gross. It feels so
Oh,
gross.
so my tolerance for it is if it's within like 10 minutes, like that's fine. It's mostly if it's like egregiously off. Like,
I
does
got
it
Okay.
one at
bother
11
me?
minutes.
Like, if it's like, yeah, I would say more than like 10 minutes off, like would probably bother me a lot.
Note to self: next time you're at Kay's house, bring 30 clocks and they're all set 1 minute apart.
Uh-huh. No, the best part is you keep
With an
one
alarm for
as
midnight.
is.
God.
You gotta put one as is, and then when she gets to it, she's just like, is this one right? I'm not even certain anymore.
Except she has a cell phone,
I do have a
Yeah.
cell phone. The
and
the
that will tell
clock
her.
the clock in my classroom doesn't work, and it drives me crazy. But I've only been in there for a week, and I'm already annoyed by it.
Looks like you're gonna have to get
Okay.
a ladder.
Okay,
I don't
back
know
to
if it's like
Cosmere.
broken or it just like doesn't work or what's going on. I don't know. Or if it's just like set to the wrong time. I gotta figure that out. Because it's gonna drive me bonkers.
Yeah.
Oh boy.